motherfucking green screens and shit. I have to give you a motherfucking disclaimer. You see, I use the Nikon D5500 for my photography. It also has video. However, either it's the cheap ass lenses or the software or something that causes the autofocus to go fucking crazy if you even fucking slide slightly to the left or right. And it's pissing me off because I spent quite a nice fortune on this fucking camera. And I'd like to be able to, just not have to fuck with the focus while I'm filming video. I'd like the camera to be able to figure out what the fuck to do. And as you're going to notice as you watch this video, the fucking shit ain't working. Alright, it's focusing in and out, and I was so pissed off because at the end of this, I didn't want to refilm it. So please bear with me on this video because the video quality is shit. So, plus I'm learning green screening. So, other than that, have a nice fucking day. And subscribe and like. Well, I haven't done a fucking video in a while. So, here I am. Been really busy with my personal life. I've had a lot of problems. My mother had a stroke. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, today I'm going to talk about alternate day fasting, how I broke my plateau finally, because I weighed in at 189.8 pounds yesterday. So that's the lowest weight I've seen yet. And I thought I'd never do it because I was hovering at the fucking 193, 194, 195-ish area for fucking over a month. And, every once in a while I dip down. And as you know, during my 72-hour fast, I did dip down as low as 191. But it didn't last very long. I went right the fuck back up. To me, a plateau is when I hover in an area instead of just consistently dropping every week. During these times, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm going to talk about alternate day fasting versus every other day dieting and kind of how I've worked that into the protocol that A, broke my fucking plateau, and B, made me feel a little more satisfied, I guess, than true ADF. Alternate day fasting, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the concept, like maybe you're watching this for the first time, it's basically a 36-hour water fast every other day, and then like a 12-hour eating window on the day you eat. So generally, it works out to, on your eating window, you could eat up to your double your maintenance calories. Probably not going to lose as much weight if you do that. I would recommend 1.5 times. You don't want to under eat during ADF. If you just eat your maintenance calories on your eating window, you are going to be pretty fucking hungry the next day. Especially if your diet is high in carbs. So I would fucking recommend you just eat what you want to eat. Don't even think about it that much. I mean, you don't want to, you'll know if you're eating too much. I mean, if you're sitting down eating a whole fucking pizza or you're stuffing a goddamn huge goddamn piece of cheesecake into your face, chances are it's going to go into your ass. So you might not want to do that. Just, put the fork down at the appropriate time. If you've eaten a shit ton of stuff, stop your eating window, start your fast. It's that simple. When you think you've gotten to that point, stop. And fuck with that a little bit based on because everybody's different. Some people retain water more than others. Some people hold on to fat more than others. Everyone is a little different. So you got to find your own fucking individual calorie tolerance to where you can steadily lose weight. So if you're plateaued and you're doing this form of fasting, then you need to drop your calories if you're plateaued slightly, not extremely, because if you go too low, you're going to be a miserable fuck. Okay? So don't be a miserable fuck. Now, that protocol works, you do your 12-hour eating window. Say you get done eating at 7 o'clock at night. The next day, you do nothing but water for 36 hours. That means you go to bed without having eaten all day. And then you wake up the next morning after that. So you've gone 36 hours from the last time you ate. Then you have the option of starting your eating window. I usually don't necessarily focus on the 36-hour mark. If I'm not hungry, I will close up my eating window that day, but consume the appropriate number of fucking calories. So I would get up at, say, 7 in the morning and, I'm not hungry yet. I'll just drink some black coffee and start my day. And then around 10 or 11 in the morning, I'd be like, okay, I'm hungry. So it's time to eat. And then I eat what the fuck I want to eat. The problem is this, while this fucking protocol is probably one of the most effective that I've tried, it's also one of the most difficult because there's several things that get in your fucking way with this. First of all, you got the social aspect. You have to stick to the every other day for this to be effective. You don't just want to do 1 or 2 of these a week. If you're in a hurry to try and lose your fat and you want to do it in the maximum way, you have to do this every other day. That's simple. The problem with that is some weeks, mainly the weekends is when you run into the social fucking crunch. Either you're going out Friday night, your friends want you to go drinking, they want you to go to the fucking diner later at night, or you go to your mother's house if you're like a little old lady motherfucker and you go when you want to eat her fucking spaghetti noodles and tuna casserole, but you can't because you're fucking on a fast day, and they look at you like you're an asshole because you won't fucking eat. Okay, you can tell I got a little bit of business or a little bit of bitterness there for ununderstanding motherfuckers that want to stuff you even though you're trying to lose weight. Anyways, so you got the social aspect, and every other weekend, if you're following this, sometimes your fast is going to fall on like a Friday-Sunday type schedule, and sometimes your fast is going to fall on a Saturday, So, because there's 7 days in a week, it's an odd number. Your every other week is going to be a little different with your fasting, and sometimes that's not going to line up with your social life. So it removes pretty much flexibility from. I mean, you could say fuck it and just eat a couple days and then try and make up for it, but that's going to slow down your results. And that's fine. Like I tell you, don't be in a hurry. Do it at your own pace. If it works for you, you want to take that extra fucking fasting day and eat, fine. But don't cry if you plateau or something, or if you gain weight over the weekend, because you're going to. You're going to retain more water. You're going to fucking suffer. So, the other aspect of it is you're going to be a lot hungrier with this protocol on your fasting day, it seems, because without fail, throughout my entire intermittent fasting fucking journey, around 20 to 24 hours I get hungry without fail. Stomach rumbling, and sometimes it's coupled with cravings, and my whole quest has been to find the protocol that leaves me the most satisfied but has the best weight loss results. And as you get closer to your goal, I've lost approximately 54 point... Shit. Is it 54.4 pounds? Something like that. I don't know. I'll post a little fucking thing with the math right here and shit. But I've lost over 53 pounds of weight. We'll just call it that, and I'll write in what the actual amount is. So, not to get sidetracked, I've lost all of this weight, and as I got closer to my goal, which is around 180, 185-ish, a hovering zone, with which I can start to regain some weight and muscle and lean mass, which I plan on going back to the fucking gym to do. As I got closer, I plateaued. And I plateaued in the 190s and stayed there for a month. And the only time I dipped close to breaking that plateau was when I did the 72-hour fast that you guys all watched previous to this video. So now I've pretty much just fucking I've pretty much broken my plateau with a modified version of ADF. And it's also a modified version of the alternate day diet. As you know, the alternate day diet allows you to eat on your fast day anywhere from 600 and some odd calories if you're a fucking guy, or 500 calories if you're a chick. I think that's not fair to women, but I would say go ahead, woman. Eat your motherfucking 5 extra 100 calories, because I don't think in the grand scheme of things that extra 100, I mean, you're talking maybe an hour of walking or something. But 600 calories, we'll just call it that. That's the every other day diet. They recommend eating clean, but I took it a step further and pretty much kept my carbs under 25 grams on diet day. Now, the reason why this is a little easier, not a lot easier, is you can have a social life. You can't go out and get drunk. So if you're going to the bar, you're the designated driver that day. But you can go to pretty much any restaurant or fast food place and find low-carb solutions. If you're in a restaurant, get a nice big chunk of meat. And, we're not so much monitoring the calories on this necessarily. Obviously, you want to keep it below 1,000 at the very least. The less calories you eat, I've been averaging around 600 because it's a clean diet. You can eat a lot of fucking salads and greens and chicken, and yeah, it cannot be as satisfying, but get creative a little and make it suck a little less. Doesn't beat fucking Pop-Tarts, doesn't beat donuts, doesn't beat Tim Hortons fucking cookies, doesn't beat, burgers and sandwiches and bread and all that other horse shit. So, but what this does for you is it does not refill your glycogen that you burned off during the fast. And of course, any exercise you're doing during that process will accelerate you into ketosis. For those of you who don't know what ketosis is, you're capable as a fucking evolved human being of switching your brain and your muscles between burning glucose, which is sugar, to burning ketones, which is a converted from fat. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Don't know how it happens, but I know somehow it takes the fat off your fat ass and turns it probably into some kind of molecule that can fuel your brain and your muscles instead of glucose. Because, who needs glucose? So yeah, your body switches modes. At first, when you start doing this switching back and forth process of going into deep ketosis versus being a sugar burden motherfucker, you're going to feel like shit whenever you switch. Like, you'll actually feel it. You'll feel this change happen. And vice versa. When you go from ketosis back to carbon up and refilling your glycogen, you're going to feel like you just did fucking heroin or something. So you're going to go back and forth. But as you do this, your body will be like, okay, this is regular, this is happening all the time, so let's deal with it. And you won't even skip a beat. You'll do just as much activity, not get tired, and do all of that during the time you're in ketosis. But anyways, most people are able to do this. Check with your doctor. If you're fucking hardcore type 1 diabetic or something, or you have insulin issues or other severe health consequences, just ask an open-minded doctor, one who's like, you gotta eat all the time and you gotta take Lipitor and all these other fucking prescription drugs or you're gonna fucking die. Ignore that motherfucker and try and find a doctor who understands the concept of fasting. And ask them if you're healthy enough to do so. But For all the rest of you motherfuckers who are probably just going to try it anyway, and if you drop dead, then oh well, don't blame me. I said check with your doctor. I personally did it that way. I didn't check with no fucking doctor. I said I'm going to do this. If I feel like shit, I'll stop. Fuck. Anyways, so I did that, and I've done that for 2 weeks. And I noticed, because I test my piss with keto sticks, you can pick those up at the pharmacy, usually behind the counter for some odd reason, because I guess somebody makes meth with it or something, I don't know. But you have to go to the fucking counter and say, I need some keto sticks. And you go in and you piss on thing, you compare the color, and you can find out if you're in ketosis. And I do that regularly to kind of gauge how much fat I'm burning. Because while you are doing the shorter fast, you do burn more fat because you release fatty acids in your body. But as long as there's glucose in your liver and muscles, your body is going to preferentially burn that. As that lowers, your body is starting to go, oh, what the fuck, we need to pull some energy from fatty acids. So it does all of that shit, and you burn some fat while you're fasting. But like I said, as you get lower, your body's like gets accustomed to it somehow and plateaus. And it's not just me that's noticed this. I notice a lot of you watching this have given me testimony that you've plateaued around the same amount of weight that I plateaued at. So your body does, so you got to fuck with your calories and macros at that point. Reduce your overall calorie intake for the week. So the protocol I follow now is this, and I will probably do this protocol till I reach my goal, and then modify it to a maintenance regimen, or maybe just eat like a fucker for a week, pump some iron, try and build some muscle, then go ahead and use the protocol to get back down. So here it goes. Day one, you can just start partying because, you know, you're getting ready, you're gearing up, but you're trying to get yourself locked into some kind of eating schedule. So there's how it goes. Fast for 16 hours, then eat maintenance calories of whatever you want. Requires counting calories, or at least having a good ballpark idea of how much you're eating. You can find apps for this. I've talked about this in the past. MyFitnessPal is what I use. That's on Android and it's on Apple. So there's no excuse, because you can punch in whatever foods that you're eating and find out the serving sizes and figure out roughly how much calories you're eating. And as long as you keep your ballpark on this day at maintenance, you'll do fine. Then you want to do a moderate fast. And when I say moderate, I say about 20 hours. So after you finish your eating window, start the clock. So say you get done at 7 p.m. Sorry, math and shit. Around 3 p.m. the next day, you can have what I call the diet meal. No fucking carbs, no refined carbs. If you absolutely have to have carbs, make a sandwich with some whole grain bread. 2 slices of normal fucking, like your mom made you a PBJ in the fucking kitchen. And unless you really have a low tolerance for carbs, you're not going to hurt yourself too bad. I did that accidentally one day, you know, thinking that it was going to be a little less carbs. I ended up at 50 grams instead of 25 for the day of carbs. So if you have to have it, a piece of bread or some fruit that's, you know, lower on the glycemic index, like an apple's pretty low. I've done raisins because I have a sweet tooth, and after I eat my salty and fatty and all that shit, I want some sweets. So you eat that. Keep your carbs. I would say 25 grams is optimal, but if you can't help it, keep it under 50. Find your tolerance. You know, you can experiment with it, but you want to generally keep your calories under 1,000. The closer to 600 you get, the better the results. But I found 1,000 was effective. Just maybe a little slower than the 600. And then you're done. That's one meal. Preferably when you're hungry. Wait till you're hungry to do it. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Because trust me, when you get hungry and you want to fucking eat that, eat it. Now, according to some scientist motherfuckers, you can eat those calories really whenever you want. But I tend to do it at the 20-hour fast mark because A, I'm already burning some fatty acids when I'm reach the 20-hour mark. I haven't depleted much, all my glycogen, or I'm not in ketosis at all at that point. So you eat that, and you're not replenishing your glycogen. It's as if you're still fasting, and your body will burn off all of that food because it's not enough to cover you for the day. It's not even enough probably to get you through the night. So your body will be satisfied, and then of course you go to bed and get a full night's sleep, which is important for fasting period. Oh shit. You've gone through the meal. You've kept your calories down. You go to bed, you get your full night's sleep. Roughly, now this is variable too. The longer you go, the better. But in the morning when you wake up, and you can test this with keto sticks to find out if it actually works for you, I started to be in ketosis. Now, prior to this, when I did regular ADF, because of the way it was, somehow I didn't deplete my glycogen to the point of ketosis till damn near the 40-hour mark. I have no fucking idea why it works this way, because you would think not eating at all would put you in ketosis quicker. But apparently, eating low carb and eating fats and proteins must kick you into some kind of ketosis, because without fail I've gotten into moderate ketosis when I wake up in the morning before I even hit 36 hours sometimes right at the 36-hour mark. And if your 36-hour mark's 7 a.m., then I would say don't eat for 4 or 5 more hours. Try and make it to lunch if you can. It's not hard. You're generally not hungry in the morning. Have a cup of black coffee and be like, I can't wait to eat. So you do that. You fucking go till around noon, and you're like, okay, time to eat. You eat maintenance calories. You can eat what you want, but keep in mind, the more shit you're eating, the quicker you're going to roll through that. So what I tend to do is kind of try and plan it out. If I think I'm gonna eat a lot of shitty food or a really big obscene meal like half a pizza or some horse shit, then I'll generally compress my eating window so that I eat all of my calories in a shorter time frame. If I just kind of want a snack, but I'm not gonna be a gluttonous fucking pig, I'll go ahead and have a small meal. Sometimes you can have 3 meals a day. You can keep your eating window in between 8 hours. Probably 8 hours is the best eating window. So you could start your eating window around 10 or 11 or whenever you're fucking ready. Later you wait, the better, because while you're doing that, you've burned off all your glycogen at this point, and you are using ketones to fuel yourself. And once your body makes ketones from your fatty acids, it's gone. Your body doesn't reabsorb the ketones. You piss them out. That's why they have the piss test. So basically, the longer you're in ketosis, the more fat you're going to burn off of your body. And it's the same as low carb dieting. Now, we all know low carb dieting sucks, but you're only having to do it every other day. So it alleviates the social pressure somewhat, because you can sit down and have a meal with somebody. Hold the bread, fuck off, no bread. Oh, I can't drink today, but come with me tomorrow and we'll fucking tie one down. Stuff like that. So I found it to be very easy on me, especially since I've tried all of the fasting protocols now and have gauged how I feel on each one, how sustainable it is, how often I have to go off the rail. Because y'all know, I have weekend benders where I just eat whatever the fuck I want and gain 10 pounds, you know, and then I just go ahead and lose it. And usually, generally, I lose whatever I regain within 3 or 4 days, sometimes 2 days. So, you know, but that's all the water weight game. I'm not really talking about that today. So, other things that this accomplishes is it reduces the amount of shitty foods you're eating too. So you're going to feel better. And I've noticed a reduction in my cravings when I do this. You know, first of all, after I eat the keto meal and I wake up the next day, I don't even get hungry until the 20 to 24 hour mark still. And when I am eating, I don't generally crave as hard when I do this. And I think maybe, you know, I noticed that when I put a little bit of sweetness into what I eat at the end of my keto meal, whether it's something as simple as putting whipped cream on some peanuts or something like that, you know, as a dessert, you know, it helped. I didn't feel as much cravings. Now, I don't know if I can attribute it to that, or maybe my body's just finally said, fuck it. He's not eating the fucking Pop-Tarts anymore. We can turn this fucking alarm off now and just let him go about his life. Or maybe the keto meal, clean eating, healthy, is giving my body what it wants, and therefore it's not making me want to dig into the Pop-Tarts or the donuts exclusively like I did sometimes. Because sometimes I would eat insane amounts of calories, 4,000 calories on my eating days, and then I would go and do the 36-hour fast and then wonder why the fuck I didn't lose any weight. Yeah, I'm not the smartest fucking guy in the world sometimes. So, this is the protocol I'm sticking with for a while, so if you're looking for more protocol videos, just see the ones below that I've already done, and you'll see how I talked about those. Will I do any more 72-hour fasts? I don't know, maybe like a cleansing thing every once in a while. It might even be a financial thing. Maybe I'm broke as fuck and I don't want to eat for a while, and I know I can survive 72 hours and I still got enough body fat to do it. I might do it. If I don't have the body fat, I won't do it. But honestly, I'm getting to the point now where I'm nearing my goal. I don't need to be that hardcore. You know, maybe if I overdo it at some point, like I gain 15 pounds back, then I might start a new fasting regimen with a longer 72, 48 hour-ish fast. So that's my game plan. My goal right now is 180. Maybe I'll get to 185 and say I've reached my goal. Because at that point, you're going to hover in that range. You're going to go up and down. And I'll be exercising, as in lifting, to try and build this bullshit back up. Because, you know, it's suffered a little during this whole weight loss journey. I'd say probably 5 to 10 pounds of my weight loss was muscle. Some people cry over that. People have told me I look great, so I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm not a bodybuilder, but I want to fill up a little because I do have some loose skin shit, and you will too in this process. And maybe I want to fill it up with something besides loose skin. So, anyways, I'm going to try and build up, and I'll document all of that and talk about how to do that, what I'm eating to do that, how my fasting protocols are, because I'll still continue fasting protocols. I just modify the amount of calories I get to eat, or maybe the content. Maybe I won't go low carb on my days. I don't know. Maybe I'll just shift over to doing 16 and 8s as a maintenance. I've considered that, or maybe 20s and 4s, and eat what I really want to eat. And not worry so much about calories, because I'm going to be trying to eat in a surplus as it is. A little higher in the protein content, so more meats, but I'm not going to be supplementing or anything of that shit. I don't believe in supplements. Because, you know what? I'm pretty sure there were muscular motherfuckers back in the day before there were supplement companies. But I know I said I was going to talk about fucking healthy eating versus unhealthy eating and the effect on our society, but I'm going to save that for another fucking video. I'll probably edit out earlier when I said that. Which means you haven't seen that. Which means fuck. So that's what's been going on with me. Thank you for all of you that have subscribed. I'm overwhelmed with the amount of people that seem to enjoy my videos. And if you are not a subscriber and you watch this, fucking subscribe. If you're trying to lose weight, or maybe you enjoy the content, there's going to be other content. I'm working on another adventure video. It's almost done. It'll be up pretty soon. I'm shifting careers into photography right now, so there'll be videos around that. You already see in my adventure videos how I am trying to take pictures and learn the whole process. Well, I've pretty much come a long ways since the last adventure video, and I've done some events, and I even done a wedding. So you're going to see more content like that and more adventure videos where I go out to shoot things that, you might want to do, and you just want to see what it's like before you fucking go. Or maybe you enjoy the way I react to things. I don't fucking know. I don't know why you watch me, but I like that you watch me. And it helps me too in this career change, because I'm going from a $60,000 a year trucker to broke as fuck. Photography is very competitive and hard to make a lot of money in when you start out. Hopefully that changes. So YouTube is a nice little itty bitty chunk of beer money that I can spend. So, and all you guys got to do to help me is just watch. That's it. Just watch my videos. Subscribe and watch. Get other people to subscribe and watch. You got that overweight motherfucker that has been doing paleo and just wants to kill everybody. Tell that overweight motherfucker, hey, you don't have to be paleo all the time. Maybe just be paleo every other day and then fast. And they'll look at you like, yeah, I can't not eat. We'll go into starvation mode and fucking die. And then you go like, well, you can go fuck yourself, because I've been doing it this whole time, motherfucker, and look at me. You get the idea. So, remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Have a nice fucking day.